Hakeem Jeffries, good to have you with us.
Good to be with you.
So I do have to get your take on this news that we're just getting, that Chief of Staff John Kelly expected to resign soon, and that a leading contender is Vice President Mike Pence's Chief of Staff, Nick Ayers.
Well, I don't know much about the leading contender, but I can say as it relates to John Kelly, it's been a tremendous disappointment. He had done a lot for our country in terms of his service prior to arriving at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Once he arrived there, he's been a total disaster. He was supposed to try to change the chaos, crisis, and confusion that has been the Trump administration from day one, but it's really just gone from bad to worse. And at the end of the day, his tenure should be judged based on output. And the only legislative thing that they've accomplished in the first 2 years has been a tax scam where 83% of the benefits went to the wealthiest 1%, exploded our debt, and they're going to try to stick senior citizens with the bill and young people in terms of trying to strip away Social Security and Medicare. So we'll see what comes next, but by any objective standard, it's been a failed tenure for John Kelly.
So you think it's time for him to go, and has been for some time, if I'm reading between the lines there?
It's certainly time for him to go, and hopefully whoever comes in next is willing to try to find common ground with us as House Democrats to deal with the substantive pocketbook, kitchen table issues that we're going to focus on in the majority.
Do you believe that's something the president is looking for in his next chief of staff, someone who is open to finding common ground with Democrats?
Well, that's not clear because the president does tend to want to have people around him who are sycophants, who don't necessarily disagree with him, or who are individuals who aren't able to steer him in the right direction. That's been unfortunate. Hopefully that will change because we're committed to enacting our For the People agenda as House Democrats and to work with the White House and the Senate in order to get things done like lowering the high cost of prescription drugs or real infrastructure plans.
So you're holding out a hand there. You're holding out an olive branch to the president saying, I'm here to work with you.
Well, I think the American people inherently want us to work together in a divided government context. They don't want us to fight from day one, and we can't have the perpetual 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year campaign. There has to be room to govern, and if we are going to govern, we're going to have to work together if we can get things done for working families, for middle-class folks, for everyone else.
A lot going on today, so we're going to do a little bit of a lightning round approach on this Friday morning. As you know, we're waiting on these filings from the Mueller team, one involving Paul Manafort. Prosecutors expected to say why they believe he lied and then why they ultimately asked to end that plea agreement, and then, of course, sentencing documents for Michael Cohen. What do you expect to learn in those filings? What are you looking for?
Well, it's likely that there will be further evidence that there was some sort of conspiracy between Russian operatives and high-level members of the Trump campaign to sell out our democracy in order to artificially place someone at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We'll see what the facts present, and today may be an additional piece to that puzzle. At the end of the day, I think we all have to allow Bob Mueller to do his job. He's doing it in a very thorough, fair, and comprehensive fashion. We want to see that continue. And ultimately, he'll have to present the facts and the evidence to the American people, to the Congress, and then we can go from there.
In just about an hour and a half from now, 90 minutes, James Comey going to be sitting down behind closed doors, as we know, with House Judiciary. 90 minutes is not enough time for you to get to Washington. So I'm guessing you are not going to be sitting in on that?
That is correct. And this is a total and complete waste of time. At the end of the day, we know that perhaps the most significant thing that James Comey did in the 2016 election was, with 11 days, parachute into that campaign, detonate a grenade on Hillary Clinton's candidacy by reopening an investigation where there was no evidence justifying that to happen, and perhaps costing her the election. Now, the past is the past, but there's no reason for us to revisit what may or may not have happened in 2016 when it's a fact that's hiding in plain sight.
So you believe this is all just a waste of time, and so that's why you don't see a need to sit in on it today?
This is a witch hunt, a kangaroo court, and a circus wrapped into one, and it is a tremendous waste of taxpayer dollars. We should be trying to find common ground as it relates to solving the pending shutdown fight that may occur in the next few weeks, and funding our government in a way that allows for us to bring the hopes and aspirations of the American people to life.